Hello everyone. Today we have here Sombuddha Bagchi, who is currently pursuing his PhD at University of California, San Diego. To be very honest, he hails from Kolkata, and today he is going to share his journey from Kolkata to California. So, Sombuddha, over to you.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So I was born and brought up in a quiet town in Hooghly named Chuchura, where I did my schooling. And after that, I moved to Kolkata in around class 8, where I finished my class 10 and class 12. And after that, I gave my WBJE and got a decent rank. I could not do very well in the IT Advanced, JE Advanced or the JE Main. So I got a decent enough seat on mechanical engineering in JU or Jadavpur University. So it was one of the best 4 years of my life, where like there was lots of freedom, like you can do over anything you want. And
So, how did you manage to land up at the University of California, San Diego?
actually, to be honest, I in my first and mid of first year, second year, I was not much inclined towards going to going abroad for higher studies, because to be honest, I did not have much knowledge about what was needed, because I thought at that time that only toppers goes to like universities, goes abroad. So I thought that the other option would be to take part in the campusing and get a decent enough job in the industry, or give the gate and do higher studies, because at that time I was, as we all are, like we are not sure about whether to go for higher studies or to join the industry. So that time I kept my options open, and some of my friends started taking up projects like summer projects. So I think it was at the end of first year that my friends started doing summer projects, so I just joined them. So there were lots of like possible projects. I mean, we asked lots of professors. Some of them were not very enthusiastic. Some of them were. So and after that, uh, after going to the projects and talking to other people, I learned that uh, there is a possibility that we can go abroad without we don't have to pay much, that high fees, like huge expensive master's degree fees, which are usually which is US colleges are usually known for. So that I got to know about from my one of the projects which I joined, the supervisor. So he told me that there is another option than going for MS, expensive MS. So that was like a direct PhD, integrated masters and PhD. So I started getting more information about what to do to get into that. So but one of the first things which strike me, that I don't have that decent enough CGPA, because that time my CGPA was around how much, like around 7.3, 7.4, not much. Like it was like shit in terms of the toppers.
So there is a myth that you need a very high CGPA to crack into.
Exactly. So I was very disappointed. Oh, it is not for me. I have to go to give gate or something. But I thought that okay, let's give it a shot. Like what the worst can happen? Like I will give gate. At least I can drop 1 year and give gate, whatever. So so I like the projects very much. I was starting to get results, so I started going deep into that, and I started going to conferences, and then I thought that okay, let's give it a shot. Like what the worst can happen? Then that was in second year, at the end of second year. And after that, I got to know about some of the fellowships, which the summer research program, you must know, we went together in that.
We were together at IIT Kanpur working.
IIT Kanpur, right? So I applied for the JNCSR one and the what is that one? IAS that one. And by the grace of God, I got all of the three. So I started believing in myself that okay, like it is not the end of the world. Okay, the CGPA, getting low CGPA is not the end of the world. So I started getting confidence little by little, and then I thought that okay, let's give it a shot. That time my CGPA was around 7.8. I mean, not even above like 8 or something. So, but thankfully I had like some conference publications, and yeah, I only had conference publication and two journal extended conference. So I am sure like if I could do it, you can do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, another question. I think many of the students might not be even aware of all these publications, or most of the times they might be doing something else. So after watching this video, some of the students might get a shock that अभी तो हम लोगों ने कुछ नहीं किया है. We didn't focus on publications before. So what they can do? What would be your piece of advice to those students? Do they have a chance, or it's game over for them?
Absolutely, absolutely. They have a chance. As we all know that famous Hindi saying that "Jab jago tabhi savera." So I'm sure, like if like it's never too late. So like course that can happen. You might have to wait 1 year because you have to reach to that level of research, which like some people might have like gotten head start earlier. So they have reached that place. So they have got some publications, and that's why like their CV looks better. So you need to reach that place.
So tell us something about the selection process at UCSD. How did you land up there?
The thing is, I actually my advisor, Professor Abhishek Shah, was trying to find out new students who was willing to work with him. So he asked my professor in Jadavpur University with whom I was doing a research project. So he asked for students, and professor recommended me. And that after that, I talked to Professor Abhishek Shah, and then we had a discussion, and then we had an interview where he checked how much I knew about the stuff I was working with, and then he recommended me to the admissions committee that okay, like I got the opportunity admitted, and then they provided me an admit letter. And after that, things took its own course, like getting a visa and all that.
So what would be your pieces of advice to the students who, let's say, if somebody belongs from a Tier 3 engineering institute in India, engineering or a science college in India, but that person is again extremely passionate to do research, and yeah, that person is also interested to work in the premier research laboratories across the globe. What can those people do in that case if they don't have access to
I
professors?
think in that case, I mean, they need to take one step at a time, because I don't think you can jump from one Tier 3 engineering college to going to a premium global research institute in one shot, because you take step by step. First, you need to build up your CV. You need to show that you are passionate about research and all that. So for that, you need to show some output. And in order to achieve that, you can ask some professors in the other institutions. For example, in Jadavpur University, we had some students from other colleges who were really passionate about some of the projects, and they joined them and they did really good work. So, and that is one of the ways. Or you can maybe do some research internship somewhere in a IIT or somewhere, and then you can show that okay, you have the capability to do research, you are hardworking, and maybe that will help you to get an admit.
Okay. So tell us about your experience at UCSD till now. How has it been?
It has been a roller coaster ride. So as the first time after, because this is my first time out of the country, so after I came here, like everything was kind of culture shock, and I had a bit of a time getting used to it. But the thing is, California has a beautiful weather, especially San Diego. So had no problem getting acclimatized to this climate. It was sunny almost all the year round, and it's very pleasant. And best part of it, we have the beach 15 minutes from my house. So whenever I'm feeling stressed out, I just sit down, and I think when you are doing PhD or doing research work, you should have a hobby, because believe me, it gets very stressful at some point, and you need an escape from that. You just can't play video games and see Netflix, and because you will get in that vicious cycle. Okay, because you are at the end of the day, when you are watching TV or something, your brain is taking up new information, right? And your brain is not resting. So maybe you might. That's why I started going outdoors. I took up a new hobby, like photography. So I bought a camera and then I just go to random places and take photos. And recently I started doing astrophotography. So in the chilly nights, I just go
Wow.
outside with tripod. Yeah, yeah. You can maybe check out my. You must have seen my Facebook. I posted a picture recently. So yeah, where the
Yeah,
stars, star trails. Yeah,
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 yeah. That's amazing, actually.
yeah.
So yeah,
Thanks.
I used to be an astronomer
Exactly,
some
exactly.
time back. So
Yeah, you know it, right? So stars are
common
real.
interest.
Yes.
Okay. So what Sambuddha shared right now is the perks of doing a PhD at the United States. So
Yeah, yeah, and you get paid decent amount, and you can live comfortably. So that's a perk to use. Yes. Yeah.
what are the similar perks for married PhD students from India who are living at the United States? Just a candid question.
Um, Actually, in India, you don't have to like. You can maybe like hold your hands. In India, when you hold your hands outside and walk, and if you even hug, and people come at you with sticks. In US, there is no problem with that. And you don't have to be worried about that.
So
Yeah,
moving to the next question. Uh,
sure.
what are some major challenges that Indian students face while they relocate to the United States?
Um, First thing, I mean, from my experience, the worst part was homesickness. I mean,
Okay.
I did not faced it to a huge extent because the weather was really good. But sometimes in the northern parts of US, the weather gets really gloomy, and most of the students come here in fall. And after 2 or 3 months, it starts snowing, and snowing. It feels good at first, but after sometimes the weather, I mean, it's so gloomy that you feel so homesick and all, and you have to be really like motivated to like walk through that. And secondly is like the time difference. It's like talking to your parents at home, that like it takes a bit of an
Yeah,
effort
right
getting used
now we
to.
are having this interview session. That's just
Yeah, exactly,
to
video
our
calls.
audience.
Yeah,
It's just 6:45 a.m. in India, and as you can see, it's just morning here, and it's Sunday going on in
yeah,
California, and it's right now. What is the time there?
it's 5:15.
Okay, it's
5:15.
approximately 5:50 p.m. in California. So yeah, for this interview also
Yeah,
we had to do lots of
exactly. Lots of back and forth. Okay, what time works for him, what works for me, and then we reached a consensus on that. I will have to pull him up from his sleep, from his good sleep which he was having, and then we are having this interview. Sorry for that, Vijay.
no, no, it's completely fine. Now tell us something about the fees and the scholarships available and the financial assistance provided to the doctoral students at the University of California, San Diego in general. And to be very specific, can a passionate students coming from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and similar countries who are having extremely humble financial backgrounds manage the same?
Sure. Actually, I can give an example of my case. I'm not that. My family is not that financially well off, so we are coming from a middle class family. So, yeah, I mean, they PhD students in US get a decent salary. So actually, we have to like we get paid part time. So we usually it's around 2,000 per month. So even with the rent and all, you can stay like very comfortably. So usually, PhD students in US get paid, I mean, by stipend, and their tuition fees are mostly taken care of, except some amount which are sometimes paid by the students or sometimes by the advisors. So it depends from college to college. In our university, we don't have to pay that, but I've heard from my friends that they have to pay some fees, very very nominal. And if you are staying with your spouse, so it gets a bit tricky there because it's a bit hard to support your spouse when you're working as a PhD student. Other than that, I'm scholarships and stipend are usually provided too, so you don't have to worry about taking care of your own needs, and you don't have to ask your parents or your guardians for financial assistance. And you sometimes you can even help your parents with by sending some money to them, which if you are stable financial, like if you are take care of your finances properly, you can of course save enough to send your parents money.
So, what are the possible career options post PhD from the United States?
Actually, US has like a lot of career options depending on which field you are in. So if you are from an electronics or a computer science background, you won't find any dearth of opportunities, because there are lots of like multi MNCs and just startups which play a decent amount of money. But if you come from the like in my case, like aerospace or any like field which are like aligned to the defense related stuff, so in that case it might be a bit tricky. So in that case there is other option of doing postdoctoral, or being a postdoctoral researcher, or uh, or maybe some other, like you can go to data analysis, which like takes students, which takes hires PhD students from any field. So and know a basic sense of, like most of the students have basic knowledge of coding, so you won't have any problem like switching fields if you are open to it, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so primarily it's not sure, but there are lots of opportunities. That's
There are lots of opportunities, yeah, depending on your field. So do a bit of research on whether your field has like opportunities or not. So ask your seniors who have faced a similar situation before, so they might know a bit better than me, because I know only for my field or some one or two like major fields. I don't know for sure about all the fields.
okay. So, what would be your tips to your juniors or the aspiring researchers in general?
Uh, to be cliche, that I would give the same cliche, but advice, but it works. Be hardworking, be committed, and first of all, don't be disappointed or be discouraged if you have like below average CGPA, because you can of course like you need a decent CGPA to get an admit for, just don't be around the sixes or below the lower half of the sevens. So get a decent around 8 or something, and make up for the low CGPA by showing you have passion for research, because at the end of the day, a professor who is hiring a PhD student needs someone who can do research, who have that critical thinking, and who are really passionate about what they're working, and who has commitment, of course. So you need to show that through your CV, because that's the only way a professor is going to gauge you, because he does not know what kind of person you are. So just through a mail and your CV. So make your CV professional, and don't just put your like make a decent CV, showcase your achievements, and work. And if you have less than below average CGPA, make up for it by doing research and decent research, get publications. And of course, like you should make a list of your the colleges you're going to apply for, like from your like you can judge that where you stand among other students in your field. So make a list of the universities where you think your skills can be, and while making the shortlist of university, divide it into 3 categories. The dream, where you think that okay, I have like maybe 1% chance of getting there, and then the second tier is that okay, the safe, the reach one, where you think you can reach that university, where you have at least 30-40 chances. And there's the third tier, which is the reach universities, where you think okay, I can at least there's 70% to 80% chance of my getting selected. So actually the PhD application process takes over multiple phases. So first you have to send an email to the advisor. Advisor who is going to future advisor. Sorry,
Would be
so from
yeah.
would be advisor. Sorry, yeah. So from his tone of a reply, you can gauge that okay, you have a chance of getting admitted. So it makes no sense if your advisor does not, if that person does not reply to you, and there is no sense of applying there. So see who is replying to you, and then apply to those universities. So you will have a decent enough chances of getting admission,
Okay.
and you will save tons of fees, like those application fees. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, any suggestions on how to create a short list of universities or professors?
Actually, that is a research. That is a like a second research when the students have to do by
First
themselves.
research, to
Because
be very honest, research शुरू करने से पहले.
yeah, exactly. So they have to prepare a short list, because when you are doing research work, you will be reading lots of papers. Okay, and from those papers, you will see the author's name. The author's name, you will find lots of people who are working in that field. So you will get an idea about, okay, this professor works in this college. I can maybe send an email to him. Send an email that, okay, professor, I liked your paper. I am working in this field, and I have sent your CV, and I want to work with you. And let's see, and see where that takes you. Most of the time, believe me, I sent around 500 emails. I got reply around 10. So get ready to face rejection, and don't be discouraged, because if you send 500, you can most probably will get 5 replies. And yeah, and after that the process takes care of its own. You will know what to do. I mean, once the professor says yes, that's around say 80% of the job done. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot, Sombuddha, for this very introspective session into this.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to
Thanks a lot.
prospective.
Yeah. I think our viewers will appreciate this, and they must get some help from this.
Yeah,
So,
sure. I can. You can send them my university email if they have any questions. You can just mail me or something. I'm also available on LinkedIn. So
definitely. So I think our juniors have a very good example of a person who is working.
I won't go so far as being very good. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, we have got a very good guidance. Okay. So thanks, Sombuddha.